What is good, everybody? I'm Big C from BC, your favorite hillbilly on Twitch TV, coming at you with another server update on what has been going on and other good old drama that is never ending on the Kirtonos. So last week I posted a video, which there will be a link provided below, of all the videos I've done about the server so far. This will be the fourth video that I've done. Last week I did a lot of work. I own a small business, as some of you that comes by the stream that knows, and I was involved with it a lot last week. It needed my attention, and because of that I wasn't online and active for a lot of the ongoing stuff that occurred between Saturday and Wednesday last week. So there were some things that I missed out on, so I want to touch on the things that I missed, and then continue discussing on what's going on with the server at the moment. So as most of you know, there was world boss attempts Saturday. I was involved with Lethan. I may have probably said that wrong. You know, I know English, guys, but I'm fluent in hillbilly. And you know, we failed at it. We had an opportunity at 10% to get it from the alliance, and it didn't work out. Now this boss, we fought for hours, probably. You know, each group's killing each other and trying to yoink on attempts, and at the end of the day, the alliance ended up getting it. We wasn't able to prevent them from getting it, and the big reason behind that is, and this might make some of the Horde players upset, but it's the god honest truth at the end of the day, the Horde sucks at being organized when it becomes world PvP, especially with the world bosses. It seems the alliance seems to get the majority of them these days, and I don't know if it's because simply the Horde don't care. I've had various Horde players and different guilds on the server, big and small, tell me that the Horde is just lazy. They don't care. The alliance is more willing to help each other out when it involves getting the world bosses and the PvP that's involved with it. So you know, that's the bigger issue with the world boss issue, and it carried on over to Emrys. Apparently Nova went to get Emrys after Lethan had been taken by the alliance, and basically Nova got griefed, like they like to say, but it was no different than what we was trying to do to the alliance on Lethan and Pharrellus. So basically the alliance returned the favor to Horde on Emrys, and alliance ended up getting it. So alliance got 2 world bosses that day, while Horde got none. And you know, I think a lot of it contributes to how the Horde's disorganized. They're not willing to help one another and work together to ensure that, you know, we get the world bosses. And I think that's a big issue. You know, the alliance does care. There's more of them that's involved in the world PvP than there is the Horde. And there are times that the Horde will decide to step up and show up and show the alliance that we are the majority of the server, and you know, we can actually step up when it's actually needed. I know there are some Horde guilds that just don't care for the world bosses. Personally, me, I would like to get some of them. I would like to get some of that nice world boss loot. Some of it does have nature resist, which will be good for AQ, and it'd be great. And honestly, I wouldn't mind getting the blue dragon sinew just to get my quiver for my hunter quest. I've got the one from AV, and it's 16 slots versus 18 slots, so it's only 2 different slot difference. It gives 15%. Both of them give 15% attack speed. So, you know, nothing in that lines has changed. It's just 2 additional slots, which is kind of a big deal for hunters, because you know, we lose a bag space anyways because of the quiver. So, or ammo pouches, is if for some unknown reason you're a hunter using a gun. If you are, you're bad. But with that being said, Nova was highly upset that they lost Emrys, and they retaliated, and the way they done that was Tuesday night or Tuesday day, you know, for 8 to 12 hours. From what I had heard, there was a blockade in Black Rock Mountain, and they were making sure that alliance wasn't getting to go into BWL to raid. BW is the main raid content at the moment, so naturally, you know, guilds that wanted to go in there wasn't able to. And you know, I wasn't there myself. I'd worked all day. I went out and ate with family after work, and when I got home, I just crashed. I got home at like 9 o'clock or so, and I just went straight to the bed and just chilled out on the iPad for a bit and went to sleep. And I didn't find out any of this information until after I posted last week's video on Wednesday. And you know, there's a lot of griefing that goes on between Alliance and Horde on the server. Now, I don't think there's nothing wrong with fighting over world bosses and trying to steal them from one another and stuff. In my opinion, that's just healthy world PvP, or just getting dominance over a zone to keep one faction out from being able to complete what they want to. You know, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And I know when Scarab Lord comes out, it's Syphilis is going to be a big mess. So it's going to affect a lot of people who's going to attempt to try to get that title. And yeah, it's going to be a big world PvP. I might just go there just to be doing world PvP stuff personally. I do enjoy it. I think it's fun. I have made friends with people that are on Alliance side, you know, and that's the thing, you know, I try not to be biased on which side I'll try to take on the news whenever I give you guys the information that I do have. I try to stay in the middle, even though I am a Horde player. My real life friends are Horde players. There are people that comes by the stream that help support. It's Alliance and Horde, so I don't really pick a side in this situation. I just try to produce the information that I have and give it to you guys. But a big reason why too Nova decided to do the blockade in Black Rock Mountain, supposedly there was an agreement by all the guild leaders, Alliance and Horde, that, you know, we'd get these world bosses, you'd get these world bosses, and that's that. And you know, I've been told by Alliance side that that's not true. There was no type of agreement of the nature given, and you know, it's world PvP at the end of the day. It is what it is. So you know, there are people that feels like, you know, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It's not griefing or anything of that nature. And you know, I'm the same way on that. I remember the first time I lost my world buffs going into BWL because Alliance was doing a blockade and they were doing sappers and whatnot, and I died. And was I upset? I mean, I hated I didn't get to parse as good as I normally did because I didn't have my world buffs. But at the end of the day, you know, my feelings on it was, it is what it is. It's world PvP. If you're going to get mad about world PvP on a PvP server, don't be on a PvP server if you're going to be that butthurt about it. But things have actually really escalated a whole lot on the server, and this is the biggest issue when it comes down to it. You know, both Horde and Alliance will spend time in their day going into Stormwind, going to Orgrimmar, being able to dispel, being able to purge world buffs off the opposite faction. You know, happens in Booty Bay, and there's a lot of different things that happens like it. And you know, my feelings on that is, you know, I want a healthy environment for world PvP, but I don't want it to be at the point where the griefing is so bad. And this is just my personal feelings on it, that you're going to make the server end up becoming a dead server because people's going to transfer off. If I log on, I take the time out of my day to get my world buffs, and you know, and I know this is, you know, this isn't necessarily me, but other people, you know, other people takes the time out to get those world buffs, and they're, you know, they're logging in and out to get them. You know, they're around the DM North, they might go to Dark Moon Ferry, they log for ZG, they log for, you know, Dragon Head buff, and you know, they spend this time to get it. They got all these consumables and they're ready to go, and they end up, you know, because there's a blockade, you have to make a decision. Do I try to sneak through the blockade to be able to get into BWL, or, you know, do I just run away and log till things calm down? And that's a decision you have to make. And the biggest issue for me is, it's not necessarily losing the world buffs. It's that if my raid time is, say, 8 o'clock, and I go to raid and we're working to get inside, that way we can start doing our pulls at 8 o'clock, and there's a ginormous blockade and you spend hours just to get in, you know, right now it doesn't really matter because, you know, everybody's work for the most part is at home. There are some people that are slowly going back to work in the office and such, and I'm going to be honest with you, when I'm driving the school bus again, I'm not going to want to be starting a raid an hour or 2 hours late or even longer than that. I'll just log out because I have a job and I have a responsibility, and I do take driving the school bus extremely serious. I do have children on my bus, and you know, I want to make sure that I'm rested so that I can be alert and be able to safely transport them kids to school in the mornings. So, you know, I can understand why that later on it's going to be a big problem, and it will cause people to log off. You know, losing world buffs is one thing, but whenever you start screwing with schedules, and a lot of people now, you know, people are married, people have kids and whatnot, and you know, time that they set aside to raid on WoW is time that they could be doing other things with family or with friends. That I can understand why people are against it, and that's kind of why things are somewhat peaceful in Black Rock Mountain right now. You know, there's still a few people that goes in there, and there's always going to be those people that regardless of what the server agrees on, they're still going to act stupid, and they're going to still try to get rid of world buffs on people and stuff. You know, I know that if it continues to happen, there'll be full on guilds that does that. They will just leave. They'll go somewhere else where they can farm, where they can raid, and you know, the griefing, they can still get the world PvP, but there's not the griefing going on with. I do want to say one thing. I noticed some people make comments about the skips that happens in my videos, and what that is just me absolutely butchering a sentence or words, and I'll go full on boomhauer and nobody knows what I don't even know what I say, let alone anybody else. So that's parts that I edit out, and so if you see a skip, that's what it is. I want to thank everybody for coming by and watching the video. Really appreciate the support. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We finally hit over 100 subs, which is fantastic. I did a thank you video on that. Watch that if you would like. But also make sure you hit the notification bell. That way when I upload a video, you'll be able to see it. I do them weekly. And yeah, guys, thank you for everything. My Twitch and my socials will be linked below, as well as past videos about the server. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there. Keep living your best life. I'm Big C from RBC. Peace and God bless. I'm out.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home.